Okay, so I have no one here right now. I'll explain what happened in just a minute, and then I will continue the episode where I left off. So we had some interesting technical difficulties at the normal studio where I do the interviews. Internet problems, and it was really choppy, and it ended up even freezing up near the end. So I decided to, now the interview was done, and even the interview wasn't, the connection wasn't where I really wanted it to be, but I can't make up that part. The rest of it that I said, for the most part, it's there in the first live stream, but it is very choppy. So I decided to stop it there, come home where I have a better internet connection, and I'll go through the rest of what I wanted to talk about, the rest of the reviews of the results for last week, as well as the previews for this week. So we'll just go ahead and talk about that now. I apologize if you want. So yes, it will be two different live streams. It shouldn't be much overlapping information at all. I'll start here at the soccer stuff, which you heard a little bit of, but I'll just restart that. But everything up to that point is in the first live stream if you want to watch it. If you have any questions about maybe some choppy parts that you didn't understand, I can answer those in the comments in either this live stream or the one previous in that live stream itself. So if you have any questions like that, just ask. I apologize, but I'm just going to go ahead and start with soccer. So soccer had their jamborees last week, and both the boys and the girls, they won by a combined score of nearly 30 to 5. It was something like 14-3 and 16-2 or something like that. Both were blowouts, just the normal Vanderbilt soccer way. We saw both teams get to the semifinals last year, both boys and girls, so not a big surprise coming from either of these teams that they blew out whatever competition they had. Another thing I want to talk about within this segment is the state rankings. So the boys are number 6 in their division. And something interesting regarding that, I think it's Division 2. Something interesting regarding that is Vanderbilt, if you look at it's just a poll, but if you look at the number of votes that each team had, number 1 through number 8 was only separated by about 35 votes, I think, or 45 votes. I think it was number 1 had 135 and number 8 had about 90 something. So all 8 of those teams are seen as potential contenders in the state ranking and in the state championship, including Vanderbilt's at number 6 with about 101 votes. After that, 9 through 16 or whatever had 45 votes or fewer. So the difference between 8 and 9 was as big as the difference between 1 and 8. So you can see there's a really big difference between the haves and the have-nots in soccer, and the boys at least. So we're part of the haves. We're part of the group that can compete for that state championship come February. The girls, a little bit different. Now, the girls in soccer, just like the girls in volleyball, went up a division into Division 2. And this means the teams that we're competing against are very different, including, I think, St. Thomas More. Turtlings went up along with us, the team that beat us in the state championship game last year. And the girls are still, despite having this, are still ranked 4th. So we're still seen as major contenders for that championship. So best of luck to the girls for that. Excuse me. Lastly, did I talk about volleyball before basketball? I think I did. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the previews for the next week, starting with cross country. So cross country has their state meet this week on Tuesday. Some people are leaving on Monday to have a chance to look at and get ready for the meet on Tuesday. And it's a huge meet for both teams. Now, one team is probably a little bit more of a contender than the other, but I'll talk about that now. The boys, start with them. They're still a very young team. Not a lot of seniors, not a lot of juniors. Still a very young team. But with how we competed at district and River Parish and all these different things, no matter what happens at state, now there are a lot of things we can build on and improve on, but no matter what happens at state, this is a very good season. This is a successful season where we won. We won district, we won River Parish. So this state meet for the boys is, one last chance to build on what they had this season and to give a great exclamation point for what was already a successful season for the boys. The girls probably should win the state championship. We'll see. Obviously, there's a lot going on, but we definitely have a chance at doing that to defend that state championship that we had last year. We'll have to see. It is an elite state championship winning cross-country program. We'll see if they have the same success they have had in previous seasons. And we'll see if we can defend that state championship for the girls. So best of luck to them for that. After that, we have soccer. So a few games for the boys. They host Acadiana on Monday and host Zachary on Wednesday. I don't know much about either of those teams, but my guess is most teams the boys play will be teams that we can beat. Maybe not easily, but teams that we're probably favored against. Then the girls have a game on Tuesday at St. Thomas More. And this game has a lot of playoff implications. 11-0 and 5-2. Excuse me. Thank you, Nick. I apologize. I just heard it and then tried to relay it. Thank you, Nick, for giving the more accurate information. Either way, they were both very good wins for the boys at the very least, and a great start to their season. And they have a couple more games this week. Back to the girls. Thank you for that information, Nick. Back to the girls. Big game against St. Thomas More on Tuesday. A lot of playoff implications for both of those teams. Similarly to the game that we had in volleyball against, I think it was Cabrini, early on in the season as well. Moving up a division, seeing if we can compete with these big programs now in our division. We'll see if we can do that. We'll see if this great program in 3A in Division 3 can move up to Division 2 and compete with the big dogs. We'll see if we can do that. So best of luck for the girls in doing that. Both have a tournament at Karen Crow on Friday and Saturday this week, so best of luck to both teams for that. Girls basketball hosts Letcher on Tuesday and travels to Helen Cox on Thursday. Home game, away game, beginning of their season. A couple of teams that we've seen before are very beatable teams. They host AOL on Monday as well. They're at home opener there. So best of luck for the Terriers, for the girls in those games, and hopefully competing and getting some nice home and even an away victory on Thursday to start out the season. Swimming also has their state meet at Sulphur. Best of luck to them. And finally, football against U High. Lot to talk about. I brought it up a little bit earlier, but there's still a lot to mention. So just like the Hannon game, U High is a team that we have played before since at least the seniors have been here. So 4 years ago, our 8th grade year, the seniors' 8th grade year, the last time we had a playoff win, we beat Letcher. And then we traveled to U High in the second round in the quarterfinals. And we lost. We lost really badly. We lost 42-7, the same score as the De La Salle game last year in the playoffs. But this team is very different than the team that won 4 years ago. We're going to go into this U High game thinking and truly believing that we can win. I said it about Assumption U High back with the interview with John Luke. This game, despite what people may say outside of the circle of Vanderbilt, is very winnable. Assumption's ranked 55th in the state. U High's ranked 54th. That's Max Preps ranking. I don't know how accurate that is, but it's a nice beginning starting barometer to see just how highly ranked, how highly rated these teams are. And the thing is, Assumption was a team, despite all the mistakes that we made, despite all of the problems that we had in that game, that we still almost beat, that we still came within one play of beating. So U-High, despite how much of a pedestal they are put on as a program, we can play with them. They are a beatable team. They are not the unstoppable force they have been in seasons past. We can compete with this team. We can compete with any team, but we can really compete with this U-High team. And the big thing, the huge thing that separates this game from the U-High game 4 years ago, this playoff game is at home. I do not know the last time we won a home playoff game. The last time we had a home playoff game in football was 3 years ago against Edie White, and we got upset. This time, because of the way high school football or high school playoffs works, we host U-High. We have a chance for U-High to come in Buddy Marcello Stadium on Friday night at 7 o'clock in the state quarterfinals, and we have a chance to prove the world what Vanderbilt is. We have a chance if we focus this week, if we have a great week of practice like John Luke said, if we have a great week with focus and don't make mistakes and play with the physicality that we can and will play with, we can win this game. We can go out and beat one of the most well-renowned programs in the state. I really do think we can do it. So best of luck to all of the football team in hopefully doing so and getting a huge victory in what is in a huge game, win or lose. And not only outside of that, but best of luck to all of the Terriers this week in all their competition. And I hope to see you guys next week. I apologize about the technology mistakes, technology mishaps throughout tonight. But I hope to see you guys next week. Same time, same channel. I will see you then.